puede ganar. Son los ganadores, los supercampeones.
Anton.
We'd started the season really well. We'd beaten Manchester United 6-3 in one of the best games I've ever seen, and we absolutely outplayed them. Then a few weeks later, we went to Everton and lost 7-1, and things had just started to turn, so the atmosphere wasn't great.
We were perennial relegation strugglers, so we were looking for another game winner, and we then had an injury and sickness problem within the club.
We were struggling at the time. We were not performing that well. I think that's maybe why Graham got players in.
Ahogado por las lesiones y hundido en la clasificación, el Southampton necesitaba un revulsivo. Fue entonces cuando Souness recibió la llamada de George Weah. El delantero liberiano era el entonces Balón de Oro. Llegó al Milan tras triunfar en el Paris Saint-Germain, donde demostró ser la mezcla perfecta de potencia, talento y definición. Una opinión privilegiada para recomendar un fichaje. Tras la conversación telefónica entre el técnico escocés y el mejor jugador del mundo, Ali Dia, el primo de George Weah, llegaba al Southampton.
He was the cousin of George Weah, former World Footballer of the Year.
We'd signed this trialist who was going to play for the club and was a cousin of George Weah.
Played in Paris for a few games. He played for Senegal. Graham Souness was the manager, so he probably thought, OK, let's have a look at him, the credentials of George Weah and things like this. OK, if he's a cousin, he might have a little something special.
We thought, that sounds a good prospect, good story. Wrote a story about it. And of course,
it wasn't very good. We weren't sure what he was doing there. We thought perhaps he'd won a competition to come and train with us.
He wasn't a handful. He was very polite. He was just a likeable young man. We were a family club, introduced, welcomed him. It was strange that it was on a Friday, because obviously we had a game the next day. Normally they'd turn up on a Monday, and you'd see them for the week's training and then see what they might have a reserve game.
Durante 16 temporadas y casi 400 partidos, Jason Dodd defendió la banda derecha del Southampton con total profesionalidad. Tras ver a Ali Dia el viernes en su primer entrenamiento, todavía se sorprende al recordar que el sábado el senegalés entró en la convocatoria para jugar contra el Leeds United.
Ali Dia was there, team sheet is read out, and he was on the bench. Obviously Graham must have seen something in him to maybe put him on the bench.
He knew that he wasn't any good, but literally they had nobody else.
So Souness took a gamble.
And then on the Saturday, we turn up for the game at the Dell, and at 1:30 in the afternoon, we're sat in the changing room and the manager comes in, and Ali Dia is sat there, and I'm thinking, that was a pretty good prize he won. He's now going to listen to the team talk and everything. So the manager does his team talk, he names the team, and then he names the substitutes.
Turned up at the ground, and a fan said to me, "Hey, you know that Ali Dia is on the bench?" I went, "No."
Ali Dia is named on the substitutes bench, and we couldn't quite believe it.
We were playing against a very good Leeds team. We lost the game 2-0, but I think most people remember about the game is just Ali Dia.
13 años siguiendo la actualidad del Southampton para el periódico Daily Echo son suficientes para creer a Graham Healy cuando afirma que la de Ali Dia es la historia más bizarra conocida jamás en la Premier League.
Watching it from the press box, and obviously interested to see if he got on. There was a little bit of a buzz of expectation and optimism. Let's see what he's about. Let's see what he's got. A little bit of excitement. And after about half an hour, Matthew Le Tissier picked up a calf injury and came off injured.
I pull a thigh muscle and I have to come off as a substitute.
The hardest thing for Ali Dia was the man that came off was Matt Le Tissier.
I came off, and to my amazement, in my place, on came Ali Dia as a substitute.
When Matt was coming off, obviously the crowd were disappointed because he was the legend that he was, and obviously it was more anticipation. Oh my God, we got a new player coming on, what it's going to be like.
Dedel, minuto 32 de partido. Como si el tiempo se parase, Ali Dia cumple su sueño debutando en la Premier League.
Physically, he looked fit. You know, he looked athletic.
He was fast,
quick.
He had pace. He was fast.
Being quick in the mind as well.
He was enthusiastic, he was keen, he tried hard.
He had the confidence to get out there and give it a go.
Hace 45 años que Nick Killingsworth acude siempre que puede a todos los partidos del Southampton como local. Pese a haber cambiado de estadio, recuerda con claridad dónde estaba sentado aquel día.
We're sort of on the halfway line, opposite the bench, and had a good, clear view of it all. The first touch he had didn't look too bad.
Probably within a minute, he'd run through on goal, and it was one-on-one with the keeper. And I thought, God, yeah, he can play.
Very nearly scored, had a good chance to score a goal.
He'd made a run into space, and he sort of swiveled, goalkeeper for Leeds at the time, came out quickly, blocked the shot.
He fluffed it.
And then, of course, he fluffed the chance.
That was the last Ali Dyer's significant moment of the game.
Then realised that he just ran around all over the place. And
then it was like, oh my gosh, I'm not too sure about it. But the level that he was at and the level that we were at was a vast gap.
It was just watching him play when he was an embarrassment.
And after 5 or 10 minutes, the reaction with the crowd were like, I mean, it's subdued.
It became clear as the game went on that he didn't perhaps have the positional sense.
But it only more or less took us half an hour to realise that maybe he's not as good as George Ware.
He was chasing the game, running around a bit like a headless chicken.
He ran around, as we say in England, like a headless chicken.
The headless chicken is used to describe a player that runs around a lot, does a lot of work, but is not very good at football.
And I didn't think he had the anticipation of where the ball was going and where he was supposed to go.
Running after the ball didn't seem to have any positional sense.
He wasn't up to it.
He just ran and chased everything and hardly touched the ball. Dreadful player.
We got to half-time and then we're walking in and we're like, what the hell's going on? Oh my gosh, what's going to happen and what we're going to do?
And then after maybe 30 minutes or so, our manager Graham Souness realised that maybe this boy wasn't really a professional footballer and he had to substitute him again.
Then with about 8 minutes to go, Leeds took the lead. Souness took him off.
And as a footballer, it's not very nice for anybody to be substituted on and to be substituted off. And obviously Ali Dyer, I feel for him, was nowhere near the level of Matt Letizia. Supporters, I mean, they come up with these songs.
Ali Dyer is a liar, is a liar. Yeah, that's a good one.
Ali Dyer, he's a liar, he's a liar. Ali Dyer, he's a liar.
Más allá de la derrota y del resultado, el tema de conversación en Southampton era la actuación de Ali Dyer.
Of course we were talking about it after the game. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, what about Ali Dyer? We made a little bit of joke out of it. But obviously in our little groups in the dressing room, we found it quite funny. Well, after and the following week, it's like, what's going on?
What I'm told by the physio, he turned up the next morning at the training ground to have some treatment on an injury.
And that was the last anybody ever saw of him. He just disappeared.
But we never saw him again. That was the story about Ali Dyer. We never saw him again.
And then that evening, Ali Dyer disappeared, and we never saw him again.
Then he